I think. I could be very wrong about that.
I'm not going to fact check it. Well, maybe I will. Hello and welcome to WNC Original Music, episode 117, the Chinese Dragon episode. Very happy to have on the podcast this week Brady Jacquin. Brady is a singer-songwriter, also a filmmaker, and just a very talented all-around artist in the Asheville area. This was recorded at Pillar Rooftop Bar in Asheville, North Carolina. You can find Brady's music at bradyjacquin.com, and also we'll have links to not only that website, but all his music in the episode notes. And also make sure to check out his YouTube page. He's got a lot of really fun stuff there. He's got a lot of videos. He does reviews of movies. He does, as I said, independent films. Just a lot of really cool stuff there. Now here is Brady Jacquin.
To please me, never said to old men. I never thought I'd go back again. Guess I better get working on myself. Tried to keep control, but I disagree with myself. It's a civil war right now. I'd love advice, but there's none to take. I could have you anytime but the question is less more? The river's dry and the bridge is burnt. This river can't be filled up again. Guess I better get working on this bridge. Whoa. Tried to keep control, but I disagree with myself. It's a civil war right now. I'd love advice, but there's none to take. I could have you anytime I want, but the question is, it's a civil war right now. I'd love advice, but there's none to take. I could keep you anytime I want, but the question is, question is less more? Thank you very much.
The River is actually a really, really, really old song. I think actually a lot of the first couple songs I did were pretty old. Just because sometimes when I play really long shows, I start pulling from the deep cuts of stuff I've written a while ago. So that song was written when I was really, really young and kind of dealing with a situation where I had like these two, and this is always weird for me to talk about songs like this because the way I write these things is sometimes purposefully like a little ambiguous and not, super upfront, because I like having people kind of picking apart, seeing what pulling themes and pulling things that you maybe are in their life as well. So it was kind of a situation where I was young and I was encountering these different choices, these two different choice points that I had to kind of choose from. And it was just kind of a situation where it felt like if I went either way, the other one was going to just, instead of choosing something and then going in the right direction, it was like you would choose that thing and then you burnt that other bridge, or that river was just going to run dry and there was no way you're going to get that back. And it's just kind of a song about feeling like no matter what choice you make, you're screwing somebody over or you're just having a bad time in some way. So that's kind of where I was at. And I was really young. It was even kind of hard to remember writing that song and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. That's an interesting subject, especially for someone who is that young that you're thinking about, who you've got a crush on and stuff like that.
Dude, I'm ancient.
Yeah.
I'm ancient. Yeah. I know I'm young, but like, dude, I feel so old, and a lot of songs I write are kind of about that feeling, just because like I know I'm young, but sometimes I just like, I don't know, man. I think the internet is a big part of that. Of like, there's so many like young people now that are just skyrocketed to fame or to these great heights, that even being like 22 now feels like, oh, why am I not? You know what I mean? There's this whole thing now, and you make a lot of young people feel bad and feel old because they're not achieving these great heights. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. People don't think about, those are the people that you see versus, because they're very aware, and you can be moderately, I don't even moderately, you can have the minimal amount of success, and it really seems like a lot, like people who are influencers, their influence is just that they're on the internet and that's their fame, Isn't
that crazy?
They wear a coat and show people, but I don't know, it makes them money, so
it does, and it can be a really good thing sometimes. Like, obviously, like if people act right and they're a good kind of role model and all these things, like it can be a really good thing, but it's also just, it's inevitable. I mean, if you're young and you look at someone your age who's a millionaire already and is just like has millions of like fans and everything, you just, I don't know, you really got to be doing what you love for that reason. Otherwise you're not going to stack up to these people. Like if I wanted money as the main primary reason for music, I would have checked out so long ago, because it's just like, I mean, Justin Bieber was way younger than me when he made way more money than I'll probably ever make. So it's kind of crazy, but I love it. So I'm not going to, that's the reason. You got to stick with that.
seen lights. My eyes start to close, but I don't wanna miss the show. All the lights go out. The city fuels our drive through the night. We don't need no gas, we carry all we can. We stop anyway and are mesmerized. Light erases thoughts of going home. Oh, oh, oh. My eyes start to close, but I don't wanna miss the show. All the lights go out. The city fuels our drive through the night. Oh, oh, oh. My eyes start to close, but I don't wanna miss the show. All the lights go out. The city fuels our drive through the night. Oh, 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 oh,
That song "City Lights" was another really old song. It was one I used to. One of my really big early influences, oddly enough, was John Mayer. Even though now I'm super weird and I love like really, really weird and eclectic folk music. But when I was just getting into guitar, I mean, John Mayer, just the way he played and the way he emoted through his guitar really drew me in. So that kind of bluesy acoustic feel is the reason that song kind of came about. Because I haven't written a lot of songs like that since. But I was really young. I was playing that, I mean, back in early high school even. I was playing that song. Which is why it's pretty simple. And but yeah, that song and thematically it's pretty simple. It's one of the first songs where I just wanted to capture a mood instead of maybe like going on this whole emotional journey. I just wanted to capture this mood of like, I used to take 8-hour or 2-day drives with my family to go to New York or go to Florida.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it'd be really late and we'd be going through passing through Atlanta, Georgia or something like that. And there's just that feeling of when everyone in the car is just tired, the lights are out in the car, and then you just go through this city. And it's just, there's something about that maybe as a kid, but even now I kind of get that where it's just kind of there's this magic to it, probably because you're driving through the city, so you don't have to go through all the bull crap that comes with maybe living inside of a city. But like, there's just something to that mood, and I wanted to kind of grab that and put that in a song. And whether I did or not is up to whoever listens to it. But yeah, I mean, that was another really old song, but I like to play it sometimes, and people like the kind of the bluesy hop to something like that. So it's a fun track I like to play.
I know that mood you're talking about. I used to, when I grew up like on a farm in the country, and there was a town near us, and sometimes like, especially like in the summer on a Tuesday night, you would just get bored and just go and just drive, like you're not like looking to meet other people or something like that. You just go and drive around just because it's something to do and because it's a different feeling. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I love it. It's just and I'm not really a big city person per se. I mean, I love things about the city. I don't know. Sometimes I'm in between. Like I feel like I'd like to live close enough to a city that I can go when I want, but also live far enough away that I can be on my own. But yeah, there's something nice about that, about city life like that. It's super loud, but if you're driving through, it's actually really quiet and peaceful, and you just get that visual stimulus of the lights. It's just a show. I love it.
fight. Conflicting thoughts have many names. I'm losing time while playing games. Ooh. Thank you.
Okay, so that's actually finally a newer song, and a lot of these aren't released. They're not out anywhere. I have what is it now? I have like 14 songs out. I have like 3 EPs and 2 singles now, and no song we've talked about so far I think is on any of those. But this song, Voyager Part 1, is a song that I would love to release on an album that I have been planning for years now, and writing songs to, and it's part 1. I played part 2 later, and I'm sure we'll talk about that too. But yeah, there's this idea of an album that I've been wanting to do for so long, but it's one of those things where I want to kind of wait until I maybe have more people who would listen to it, because it's just so much work to make an album, and especially the way I would want to make it would just require, endless hours and stress and anxiety, which is kind of what the song is about, actually. Is just, and the reason it's part 1 is because I wanted to kind of bookend the album with part 1 and then part 2 at the end. And part 1 is kind of about this lack of faith and just complete anxiety, and just how that disrupts everything. And just the feeling of bearing everything on your own shoulders, and how that is just so overwhelming half the time. And luckily that's part 1, so it doesn't have to stay super depressing the whole time, because it, kind of resolves. But yeah, that's a song that hopefully I will release if I put out that album. I'm going to say when I put out that album, so that, people will kind of experience it in its whole, because I want it to, be a big production with drums and a whole, soundscape that I'm planning for this album. But yeah, I want to get some more support, some more people listening to the music, maybe on the YouTube, all that kind of stuff, so that, that work feels a little validated at the end of it, since it's so much work.
Yeah, you hate to put something out like that and it just kind of go, meh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. A song is one thing, and even that, is crazy. Like, I stress for months. But an album would be, 10 or more songs, and that's just, oh my, I'd love it, and I'd be happy to do it, but I want people to listen to it also. Yeah. Like, I want to have people, join in the feeling of it, and not just feel like I did all that and then kind of, I don't know. I just want people to listen to it.
Yeah. I see a lot of people do that though, where they, they're very popular, but they'll have something that you see as one of their early works, and you can tell they really put a lot of work into it, thinking that's going to be the thing that makes me very popular, gets my music out there. But you really do, I guess you don't want to start with your what's the word, piece,
magnum opus.
Yeah, magnum opus. Yeah. You don't want that to be the first thing you make. It's a lot to live up to after that.
And it's kind of a lie that is told to us, or that we tell ourselves too, in that, like, even this, I'm doing it like right now with this album. I feel like I'm waiting to put it out because, like, part of me thinks, like, you're never going to be able to make that again. Like I'm very proud of what I've done already with it, and there's always going to be a part of you that's like, I don't think I'll be able to replicate that, or what I make will never be that good. Yeah. And that's just such a lie, because, like, every song I write that's new, that I get excited about, I'm like, oh, this is, I'm not going to be able to do this again. And then I write another song and end up, so it's such a lie that, like, that, oh, I don't want to put this out because I don't want to do my best thing. And then it's never really your best thing, though. It's just kind of a journey, and it's really weird. I don't know. It's a weird feeling when I make stuff that I have to kind of remind myself that, I don't know, I hope that creativity tank isn't just going to run dry and that's going to be it, Yeah.
Okay, more from Brady Jacquin in just a few moments. I want to remind you to go to bradyjacquin.com and also check the show notes for, like, his Spotify and his YouTube channel, which I talked about earlier. Also, I just wanted to note, Brady mentioned that he played a very long show here. I think it was about 3 hours, maybe more, but around 3 hour show, just him and his guitar. And it was just great from beginning to end. At the end there, you didn't see him fatigue or anything. You didn't see he wasn't putting filler in there. He had a few covers in there. The covers were great. Just a really, really quality show all the way through. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast, WNC Original Music. You can also visit WNCOriginalmusic.com and look to the right or the top, depending on what you're looking at it from. And there will be places to subscribe there on all your favorite podcast places. Subscribing is always free, and if I have anything to say about it, it always will be. Also, follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram, where you can see extras from the shows. You can see some of the clips from the live shows that we've recorded, updates on special events, things like that. And, of course, more important than anything else, if you listen to a musician on the podcast, make sure to check the show notes or go and search for them on the internet and buy their music, download their music, stream their music. If they're close to you, go and see them live, and maybe just sometime drop them a line and let them know that you like their music, that you just really enjoyed it. And that'll mean a whole lot to them. Sometimes I get emails and messages saying, I like this person, I like their music on the show, but I usually don't pass it on to them because of petty jealousy. So make sure to, when you can, contact the musician directly, but also listen to and buy their music.
What's up? I'm Ron from Violet Twin, and you're listening to WNC Original Music.
'cause it never be me. Oh.
So that is another song that I would want to put on that album, which is kind of, and it's kind of a thematic through line in that album of kind of, I know it's called chasing winds, but if to use a worse analogy, like that idea of chasing your tail about something, like you are so focused on the shore and getting there that you're not living in the moment ever, and you're just always trying to compartmentalize and grasp these big ideas. And when you can't do that, it really like wigs you out and frustrates you. And I think, and that song's kind of about things that are bigger than me or than us, and that I've tried to kind of fit into a box and so that I can understand them. And then when I can't do that, that's frustrating. And the whole album is kind of about being okay with that and allowing yourself to realize that there's things you can't control and there's things that you aren't going to understand. And that's kind of the beauty of it sometimes, even though someone like me doesn't want to let anything out of my control. I want to understand and grasp everything. So that song's kind of about that feeling of just like, just chasing something that you're not gonna attain, but trying to be okay with that kind of, and that journey, I guess. It's
how does that that idea of having things that you can't control and trying to control them, trying to gain control, how does that fit in with being both a musician, a filmmaker, just a general an artist, a creative artist? Because you could have gone into like medicine or accountancy or attorney, being an attorney or something like that, or any kind of occupation there where you had more control, but it's almost like you intentionally went into something that you have to have more. You get to exert the control versus it being kind of structural.
Yeah, that's you probably nailed why I went into it. I mean, and it fit to answer like how it fits into it really freaking difficultly, like because it is a thing where, and I did a podcast with a few friends a while ago, and I think I said something similar to this, where every time I make something, it's a struggle with that, where it's like, I want to be in perfect control, and I want to say I'm writing a song or something, and I'm shooting a film or music video or something. I have this thing in my head, and I want it to be that, and I'm going to exert control over everything to make it that. And sometimes that can be good. It's obviously good to have a vision. It's good to be, to know what you want. But I've learned from doing this enough that thing that you're making, whatever it is kind of alive in itself. It's really weird. It's very strange. Like, I don't know if it sounds kind of hippie-ish or anything, but like that thing is its own thing. And every time I make something, it always turns out differently than I thought it was going to be. It's still true to what I set out to do, but sometimes it gets there in a weird way, or it becomes something else, and you have to kind of come to terms with that. Like, I have to sit there, and maybe for a whole week I think I just suck, and I'm like, this isn't working out. And then I have to come to terms with the idea that, like, okay, this song or this film or whatever I'm doing, it's not what I thought it was, but it still can be good. And that's a really hard thing to come to terms with. So it can be really good to have that control, but it's really difficult. Like, you can tip very easily into just manic anxiety because things aren't going your way. Yeah. So you have to hold it, but you can't hold it so tight that you choke the life out of it. It's a really delicate balance that I don't walk very well a lot of the time, honestly. But I try.
Well, that keeps it from being boring,
Yeah,
like once you, like a video game, once you master a video game, you don't want to ever play that again,
Yeah, so, yeah, and I'm sure I'll never master any of this shit ever.
rains reap my desire. Teach your ways to me. Medicine man, don't let me fail. All I want is to be like you. Kingfisher, catch me by the tail. Oh, swing me round and restore my soul. Watch it fall, and I know I can never be the same. A medicine man, don't let me fail. All I want is to be like you. Kingfisher, catch me by the tail. Swing me round and restore my soul. Sit down beside me. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. The tree won't fall, don't you see? You're safe and sound and far away. Oh, sit down beside me. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. The tree won't fall, don't you see? Oh, he's safe and sound and far away. Oh, medicine man, don't let me fail. All I want is to be like you. Kingfisher, catch me by the tail. Oh, swing me round and restore my soul. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so that song actually is released. That's on my first EP, the first one I ever put out years ago. That was a song that I wrote is one of the first songs I ever wrote that was kind of based on something outside of myself, in terms of it's based on an old, oh man, it's been so long, I don't want to misrepresent what it actually is now. I'm trying to remember. I think it's an Apache folk tale, I believe. And I based the song loosely on what happens in that folktale of the same name, The Fox and the Kingfisher, because it had these very interesting themes of desire and control and letting go and coming up short in all those things. It was so alien because I didn't, obviously I wasn't part of that culture or anything, but at the same time it applied so personally to me that I felt like it was okay to actually reference it, by name and by what's in the lyrics and in the themes of the song. So yeah, that was one of the first songs I've done a lot since then that was actually based on a folk tale that I didn't write. And then I kind of brought in influences from that folk tale and added my own, different wordings and themes and, so on and so forth, which is why it's weird and sounds like I'm, reading some story from somewhere. But hopefully people latch on to kind of what the song is about. And I've always liked the finger picking pattern in that song too, even though it's really old. And I don't know, it's weird to think of songs I wrote so long ago. But yeah, that's kind of what was in my head writing that song at the time.
And what is a kingfisher?
It's like I think in the story, I can't remember what this is exactly, because it was like, the story is about a fox that goes along and, this has been so long, and just it meets different characters. I feel like one was a bear or something, and one was a kingfisher, and I'm not sure if that is just that big, like it is. I'm pretty sure it is a fish, but it's like one of those giant like carp types or something that can come up. And I think I could be very wrong about that.
I'm not going to fact check it. Well, maybe I will.
Right. But yeah, and just learns things from each of those things. So he meets other characters too, but the kingfisher is in the title. So I just took the title straight from it. I felt like that was the best way to do it. But yeah, I could be very wrong about that, but who knows?
I will think that'll be the contest for the next podcast. It'll be like, you have to say, you have to tell the meaning of words in 5 of these songs here.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Okay, that's part 1 with Brady Jacquin. I want to thank him for being on. Just a real pleasure to see him live and talk to him. Really interesting and fun guy. Again, check those show notes for links to his music and to his YouTube channel. And check bradyjacquin.com for all of that. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast and see live music whenever you can. It's starting back up. See it safely, but do go and see it as you're able. I got my second shot this week, and they kind of looked at me before I left and said, "You know what? Maybe you need to come back for a third." I didn't take it personally, but I don't know what to think about that. For the closing song this week, here's a track from Girl in the Garden. She is an up-and-coming singer-songwriter from Boise, Idaho, my hometown. You can find her at girlinthegarden.com. Have a good week.
But I was never meant to stay. I dealt with it well, given the circumstances. Maybe. I guess the best way to deal with it would have been to not hit it at all, but